Look in my eyes for my mind state. I'm on the grind 25-8. Money on my mind, that's how I play. If you got it now, this what I say. Hold up, hold up, hold up, wait. Hold up, hold up, hold up, wait.
You can do the intro then while you're...
Actually, we're going to start the episode off with a whole little...
This was the pure entrance music you gave me like a minute ago. Here we go. Okay.
Go ahead! Break it!
Everybody's in on this as well. That's the worst part.
Big Swole. I need some lyrics from Big Swole.
Will there ever be a better intro to a podcast than you guys did?
Just know no other guest has gotten this. So nobody else has received this type of.
It's already my favorite episode so far.
You think you guys have practiced this for like months on end? And like,
Nah, it's random, man. It's all random.
When is Family Band starting? When do you guys get going? So
we don't even need instruments. We can go on tour. I have some weekdays open actually. So yeah, I know the Guilt nightclub is free. I think maybe we can book some appearances over there. But anyway, welcome everybody to the Swerve City Podcast episode. I forget
12.
Is it 12?
It's 12.
It's 12, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 12.
It's 12.
It's 12. Yeah, it is.
12.
Ask me.
What episode it is?
It's 12.
It's 12. It is 12, y'all. Yes, it is.
I'm glad you all know. I'm glad y'all are in.
I figured it out.
You know?
Because there's no clocks in here, so I
No. Oh, because the clocks are going to tell you how many episodes you did, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I'm going to get one. Like,
You get an episode clock. Oh, okay.
hey.
Nice.
But yes, we're back from a long actual break, actually. We have been on for like 3 weeks. I forget the last guest we had.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Fucking.
And Hot Shot.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, Joaquin, he was the one that did the Joker. He was great.
I just saw them a couple hours ago, actually.
Just want to say...
So the last episode was Joaquin.
And Hot Shot.
Hot Shot. You know how you can watch that, right? You know how you can watch that episode, right?
Where?
Is subscribe to the Swerve City Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast. And a shout out to Around Seattle, our sponsor, that hooked us up with this banner, these lovely curtains and draws that we have up here.
Curtain draws?
Draws?
Yes, the draws
Curtain
the
draws.
windows and the doors.
It draws the sound.
You mean underwear?
Yeah, sometimes. Anyway.
He supports us in every way.
He supports us in every way. He got these lights, these cameras, action, and the microphone, and half of like everything you see up in here. Around
Fantastic,
Seattle.
man.
Great man. You'd love him. Defy Wrestling.
Right.
Out Seattle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Defy.
Shout out.
Jim Perry, I miss you. Matt Farmer, what's up? I saw y'all when I did my tour in the Pacific Northwest last week.
Hey, I'm doing my first.
Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for shouting out.
You word?
Oh, shout out to Bobby.
No, I just started for him. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Salute, bro.
Salute.
Yes, sir.
What are you
Salute,
starting out?
Mike,
You got a
what you
job?
do?
Oh, I'm just doing some videos for him and some graphics for him. So
Look at God.
Look at go.
Look at God.
Look
Look
at
at
go.
God.
Everybody eating.
Everybody doing. So we
Everybody
got
right.
Mike over here doing
Everybody.
Hey.
We got Teasy over here doing some new music videos and music period.
Music
theme
stuff,
songs.
you
What's
know.
going on? Shout it out to selling what you've been doing for the past 2-3 weeks.
You know, man, I've been
He got his hair back. First and foremost.
I'm just training these ways, but as it get older, it get kind of tougher.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean? It get kind of tougher brushing every day. You ever see Poetic Justice? No. Like Chicago.
Has Damo ever seen
Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice?
That's the
Chicago
question.
for
Has-
Poetic Justice.
Has
Washing the
anybody
hair.
not seen Poetic Justice?
What up, John? Salute to you. Thank you for tuning in live. You know, I've been chilling, man. These past, Antoine, whatever. I've been tuning in these past.
I'm gonna be here for a while, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going home again.
Okay,
I'm here.
These last couple weeks, man, I've just been chilling, man. I've been working, releasing some videos, and just started an official little business thing for mental health for athletes called Apply Pressure. I will have more info about that, mental health, spiritual health for athletes. There's more details coming into that, but I'm just slowly building it. But I've been chilling, man. Just been chilling, working, still putting in work. We just left the studio. We're working on our project. He's over here killing it in the studio. I've been doing this my whole life, but he comes in here. He been rapping a hot 2 weeks with a hot dog, and I'm over here like reaching for my bars, and I'm like,
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Half a Mountain Dew.
And he been like killing it. But you know, we've been working on the project.
You will find out what I've been spitting on our full project when it releases in April. Mania weekend, as a matter of fact.
Interesting timing.
Interesting timing.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Full project will be called
From Humble Beginnings.
So we got some stories to tell in that, and
we're doing the rap thing. We're doing the rap thing, man. We're doing really good on this project. I'm very, 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 very happy to be in the studio with my bro, making music, and that's it, man. Everything been good with me. How about you, sis? How you doing, Big Swole?
Oh man, you know everything's everything for old Big Swole over here in Swole's world. Just staying busy.
Explain what that means to Mr. Killian Dain here.
Oh. Well. My life is usually a little bit more hectic than other people. You know, full-time mom and full-time wife and
kids.
Yes.
Kids.
Yeah, kid. Don't put no pearl on that.
Oh.
Hold up, sir.
You gotta deal with us.
Right.
Week, so you got kids.
That's what I think.
But yeah, like I do like cosplay wrestling as Storm, as well as of course all the indie bookings that I can take, which you can book me at bigswoleworld@gmail.com.
Holla.
Not for the rest of this year though. I'm booked up. So
Holla, holla, holla.
Hell yeah. There you go.
2020. We eat here at the Swerve City Podcast.
Yeah,
We eat.
yes.
The plate is full. So is the dinner table.
We're pretty good. I have my Shine tag team first defense in a couple weeks in New York.
Sick.
So that's going to be dope on the night. I'm excited for that. And then I got Rise with Laney Luck this Friday for my title defense. And then actually I'm heading up main eventing Shimmer with Nicole Savoy. The Shimmer champion.
There we go.
They finally meet.
Right. Versus Mercedes Martinez and Cheerleader Melissa.
Oh, I miss
There we go.
Cheerleader
Right,
Melissa.
Some legends.
Shout out to Cheerleader
I think this
Melissa.
is going to be the first time that it's all women of color main eventing
Ooh.
at Beverly Hills for Shimmer. It is, so it's going to be dope. I'm excited.
There you go.
Mm.
There you go.
Straps. We're trying to be champs out here. You know?
Double champ.
An entire event.
Multi-champ.
Multi-champ for me.
All the champ. All the champ.
I'm trying to get my old soul dragon on.
I love it. Just look around. A lot of success happening for my people,
Look at.
my folks.
Want to do it?
It's a good
Everybody.
day.
Everybody
got something to do.
You see what happens when you try to find all these spoons? Everybody can eat.
Speaking of eating,
It's almost
my man.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, it is.
Sorry, I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
My man here,
Huh.
the guest of the evening. Oh.
Nope.
He like,
What are you talking about?
Who, me?
Miss me?
Me?
Doing his thing in NXT every week on Wednesday nights, USA Network, NXT. Killian Dain over here, man. What's going on, brother?
My man.
Glad to be here. I just kind of disappointed I wasn't able to join in with the musical interchange there. I just wasn't ready.
You'll get another attempt at
I
the
think I'm probably going to need about 10 or 20 attempts to really get going.
You'll get another
Give me
chance.
love,
McConaughey version of it. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah, that's how you feel. So you feel a little bit. We'll hit you with that Matthew McConaughey.
Yes. Oh, Lord. How's everything been going, man?
It's been
Good
great,
times.
actually. It's been like I had a crazy year, shall we say, and it's been brilliant coming back here. I was kind of blessed because I asked in January if I could come back to NXT, and at the time I thought it was getting kind of blown off. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the next couple of months mean. And I was like, okay, I'm very excited. And then by April, literally the day after Mania, I was told, okay, you're going back to NXT. Going to be a singles guy. We're splitting Sanity, and you get a chance to focus on you. So it's been kind of all go since then. Like I got a chance to reinvent and try a couple of new things, and I'm really pumped about how things are going. And then obviously the whole thing with USA Network and everything. So my timing was pretty good.
Perfect timing.
Pretty good.
Say April was the time I came in with you guys. So it was I feel like April, that was a really special. April 2019 was a really special time.
Or it could be the worst of times. But let's hope that it's
I'm saying nothing but positive for a lot of people, not just myself, but for a lot of people.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's good times. So born in Belfast, Ireland.
Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Okay.
I have to. There's a kind of a geopolitical problems there, but
really,
I personally don't care what you say. But there's a lot of people back home get very upset about these things.
Like, it's northern.
Yeah. But carry on, please.
Oh yes. Yeah. So
keep telling them how good I am. Yeah,
he's amazing. He's amazing.
Need all the help I can get.
You're gonna find out all this stuff if you don't already know from watching him on NXT fighting with Matt Riddle on the USA Network every week, man. I've been enjoying him.
And he's hard to fight. So.
Oh yeah.
He's a tough man. You had a hell of a match with him, actually. I saw
you've
double
watched those.
stomp off the apron and everything. I've seen all this.
Oh yeah,
dear.
we did some nasty.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he survived them and beat me up afterwards too.
We alive.
We here.
we here. Yeah.
I was able to do some stuff afterwards. He's doing well, but so are you. So coming from Belfast, man, talk about growing up in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
So I guess like this is one of those weird things where I didn't really realize like how difficult my childhood was until like a lot older, and people started like kind of bringing up things, and you're like okay, I guess it was kind of weird because it was like martial law in the city and stuff, but it's kinda, at the time it was like it was normal, so you don't really see it as like a big deal.
Look back on things like, wow, that was
back,
messed up.
I mean, the therapy for the next 20 years is probably gonna be interesting. But I mean, no, the but out of all seriousness, it was I actually thought I had an okay childhood, like, but things kind of reached attention like as I got like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Got pretty bad into gang violence and things like that. Did a lot of things I wasn't proud of. But I was very lucky my family were able to move us out of the city when I was about 13 years old. Because me and my sister both had like kind of difficult situations like at different times. So we were very lucky that we were able to get out of the city and like completely changed my life. I was able to like focus more on sports and focus on what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Whereas when I was in the inner city, like we had no... that wasn't an option, you know what I mean? So it's been I've been very lucky that I was able to go and get moved out. I started thinking about actually trying to be a wrestler from about 15 years old, and I spent like 3 years trying to like research it and figure it out until I hit 18. I moved to Scotland, and I found a wrestling school, and that's been my life since then.
Hey,
so
you found your positive influence, something to take you out of the problems.
Yes, so that was like 15, 16 years ago. But I also I attribute music and I attribute soccer as like two huge things that helped me as well. I'll say soccer for all of you Americans here in the room,
American.
It's the one that we kick
football.
the ball with.
Well, as an Afro-Latino, I can tell you.
Yeah, you understand.
Yeah.
You understand football. Yeah, there you go.
I play football.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But like things like that, things that really helped. Like we did a lot of cross community stuff with football. So like I was able to be around people from different religions and stuff like that, which was a big deal growing up. And like my parents were very supportive of trying to at least try and understand from the perspective of everybody else. So I was very lucky. My parents they had a really difficult upbringing, but they did a really good job of raising me and my sister. And like I kind of owe everything to them, really, So they won't be watching this, thankfully, so they won't get embarrassed. It's okay. They don't have Instagram. Hopefully, my mom.
I think it's really cool that you had like you got help getting out of that situation from your family.
Yeah,
a lot of people find other
other
role models and other people to like pull them out of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, listen, there's no doubt how lucky I was because like they were in a position that they were able to get out, and like I know how difficult it is for people in the city, like in all across the world, that sometimes it's so difficult to get away from a bad situation. So I was very lucky. But as I said, I got into music from there. I was a drummer in a bunch of punk bands and rock bands and stuff like that. It was kind of cool. And I also like played a lot of sports, and as I said, I was able to develop my love of wrestling. And like really from about 14 to 18 is where, so that was 98 to 2002. So that was like such a peak time for wrestling, to watch wrestling. So it was like, it's no wonder I became such a big fan. Like, I'd seen it when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. It was on TV and stuff like that. But I never really got into it big until that Attitude Era time period. And you know, there's just like obviously there was Finlay was in WCW, and he came from like 6 miles away from where I grew up. So you know, I kind of realized, you know, if he can do it, you know, maybe I can.
Yeah.
You know, there's little things like that, and I've been very lucky. I've actually got to meet Dave, and I was able to, you know, pick his brain a few times. But more importantly, he was like such an influence, and a lot of the other like Irish and British wrestlers have all been great influences because, you know, it is such a small country. Wrestling is not big there, so like, it's like, especially at that time.
Yeah, the country's not entirely too big in itself.
No,
so,
sir.
yeah.
And it's like, you know, so it's a niche within a niche almost, or a niche, as you guys say. It's it's so difficult to get off the ground, but I was able to see the fact that Dave Finlay was able to do it and do it so well. Like he wrestled all across the world, WCW, WWF as well. So he was a huge inspiration, and we kind of realized, like, you know, if he can do it, then hopefully I can. And I've been very lucky that the way my career kind of panned out, that I got to follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
I even got to meet him and work with him. So he was a producer for one of my first segments on SmackDown, which was really cool. We were with the New Day, and he was the agent. So that was one of the coolest experiences of my life, and it's kind of, I don't look back on SmackDown with the best memories in the world,
Right.
but like I had some really cool experiences during it, and that was one of them. Like I had this really cool idea where I literally throw Xavier Woods into Kofi Kingston and it caused the finish, and it was a really cool spot. It was all from Finlay, so it was his idea. And
that's a genius mind.
He's absolutely well. He's so my wife, she like credits Finlay very highly because he works hands on with the women's division. And he's really helped her and all the girls there. So he's very popular with them because, you know, he comes with great ideas, and he's always fighting for them to get as many opportunities as possible. He's the best. Like
he was my agent when I had that match with Nia.
That's cool.
Oh, awesome.
He was real dope. So it was great. Like he's like, hey, let me see you lock up. And then, like we got the lock up, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
He probably knew you could work just by the lock.
Yeah,
like,
just by the,
okay, she's okay.
Yep,
we're gonna be okay.
That's that old school. Yeah.
The technique.
Well, that's it. Like it's
technique.
The little things that you don't realize are so important to certain people, and something like that like can be the be all and end all for somebody.
It is.
Right. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
So what was your inspiration like growing up? What got you into wrestling? Like being from North Ireland, was it something that you just saw on TV, or did someone introduce you to it?
Actually, so my best friend Chris Goodfellow, we've been friends.
But before you get into that and answer, we're going to cut the Instagram feed.
That's right.
Tell them why they can watch it on.
You can watch the rest of the episode when you subscribe to the Swerve City Podcast on YouTube and our Patreon. Subscribe to it and join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/Swerve City Podcast. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
Y'all been wanting to know how to spell it. Here you go. Swerve.
Right, Swerve City Podcast.
Pick
City.
Pick out.
Podcast.
Yep, I'm getting a whole lot of no's. No.
Yeah, sorry, 20 minutes is up.
All y'all knows, y'all subscribe. How about that?
I just love the fact that somebody's sitting there watching, like, really listening, and they'd be like, wait, what?
You pieces of shit.
Now we gotta go.
Share the story, though.
Bye.
Share that story though. He's chicken grease. Love, all that.
I think I had like 10 people watching. They're all always so disappointed, you know what I mean?
Like,
he's
finally talking about himself.
Like, he never talks. Oh, okay.
Share that
Okay. What was the question?
Come again.
So the influences, like what? How'd you
get into wrestling?
Introduced into wrestling, yeah.
So my best friend Chris Goodfellow, we've been friends.
Sounds like a good fellow.
He was the best of fellows. Yeah, there you go. It's name as well.
He sound high.
He's also my lawyer, which is even better, boom.
Yes.
But I've known him for 33 years, which is pretty cool. So he's been with me like this entire. You all right there? You okay? You all right? Want to start again? Yeah, you okay? You all right there?
I'm all right.
So,
I'm doing good.
I'll carry on.
It's about you.
I'm gonna keep going. Well, we've been together 33 years. We've been friends, and he's like a year and a half older than me. So he was obviously a little smarter. Showed me wrestling when I was like 3 or 4 years old. We used to tape WCW because it was shown on free TV. So like Sting and Vader and all these guys were who my first kind of taste of wrestling was. They used to show WCW one week and then they'd show British wrestling the next week. It was a weird little period, like 88 or 89. So like, you know, you try to follow but obviously WCW had such the bright lights and it was the bigger muscles and all that stuff. So you kind of remember that a bit more as a kid, you know, the characters.
Was that the case? They had the bigger muscles. They had the bigger guys.
Massively, yes. So the British wrestlers
versus like
little smaller, little less muscles.
So that was the time of like Dynamite Kid and stuff like that around that time.
But by that point, he would have been in Japan. So like 88, 89, that's when he was out of the country more. So like British wrestling like kind of was taken off television around between 88 and 90. My memory's not brilliant. Like somebody's gonna be so hot at me for not knowing this.
What?
But man, how dare you? But I was 4 or 5, all right. So give me a shot. I'm trying my best. But like, I kind of actually found British wrestling a lot later because of it. But we got into it because of WCW, and then we had this really weird and awesome thing happen in 1993. WCW came to Belfast. We didn't really get bands coming too often, and we didn't really get anything like that come because the 90s nobody really wanted to come because there was a civil war, so people were like, don't know if we want to bring our stuff there. But WCW came, and I got to see like Vader, and in fact the card, my first ever card had like Kevin Nash was on it, Mick Foley was on it, Dustin Rhodes was on it. It was Steve Austin, I'm pretty sure. Brian Pillman was there. Like Raven was there. Scotty Flamingo. Like British Bulldog was the top babyface. Like so, it was like a crazy, like unbelievable card. And like my memories aren't brilliant off it. I remember aspects of the day. You know what I mean? But the like I've been able to check back and see what the full card was, and I was like, oh my god, Van Hammer. Oh, that's awesome. So, but like that was my early introduction into wrestling. And Chris he was the guy who got me into like things like Pokemon and like even help with soccer and things like that. So because he was a little older,
yes.
And giving him a shout out. Now this is probably the most positively I've spoken about him. He was the best man at a wedding and all these things. So he's a great guy. That's enough talking about him. But he so he helped me find wrestling. And like when I look back, that was so maybe 4 or 5 years old. Then it was taken off television. Just the way things worked out at that point, it was off free TV. And then it was a lot later, as I say, I moved house and all these things, and it was then back on TV as WWF as this time, and then we got WCW, then ECW. So I was literally like 14 years old, influx of all the wrestling.
Here it comes again.
Like, oh my god! So it was, that was like almost like a baptism of fire because you've went from not really seeing wrestling for 4 years, and then here's all the wrestling. So,
and then the styles changed so much, so now you're getting just like all these
it's faster,
amazing
it's more
athletes.
aggressive. It's like. It's bordering on realism because they're trying to like that MTV generation. Like you can see they're trying different things, and it was just like as a teenager, you're like,
it's a lot.
I've moved to the countryside, like I'm out of the city. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with myself, but wrestling's pretty good. So
yep.
That was kind of like the way I was looking at it, and yeah, so like that was the start of a crazy love affair. And when I look back, like you think of how many matches you've watched, and you think of like how many different wrestlers you loved. I mean, Ken Shamrock was the man for a long time for me, you know what I mean? Like, and then how things changed, it was Austin and Rock and, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Those were some of your bigger influences?
At the start, like, I loved, I hated Mick Foley, which is hilarious. He was like, when he was a heel,
yeah.
And then, like, when he became babyface, I was like, near in tears when he won the belt, So it's like, it's funny just you see the journeys of different people. And when you look back at that time period, everything happened so fast. In 6 months, they could be heel and face 3 times. They could be like multiple feuds with people, so much stuff. Even like Sunday Night Heat had like 30 segments or something.
It did.
It was.
It packed in a lot in Sunday Night Heats.
And that's the thing. Like when you watch that back, it was just such a different energy. It kept moving. It was so fast. And that's what I kind of like about like the NXT show right now. Is like it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like next
a lot
to
of
next
action.
And it kind of just reminds me of that little bit of when I was a kid, and you're seeing like those kind of like boom, boom, boom angles, and it's one of those things that I kind of like enjoying about wrestling was when it was. You can enjoy it as something like to be proud of almost as a fan, like, and at that point, like, it was cool enough that you could actually be a wrestling fan.
Imagine having a social media platform on that era, and how much action you were getting, and just imagine that. That's what I think about every day in the wrestling industry right now. The sports entertainment
Stone Cold be like, what?
just replying to everybody. What? Oh God! And then
Dave Meltzer. You know what I thought about it? It doesn't matter what you thought about it.
All the stars. So many stars. But then, like as I got older, then I was able to go back and actually watch British wrestling, which was, and it's crazy finding out that there was actually some really good wrestlers came out of my country, and then there's so many great wrestlers came out of like Scotland, England, and Wales and everything. So I'd like this crazy like. I think like the early 2000s, because the internet got good and we were able to watch stuff, and like there was a little period where we had the wrestling channel in Britain, which was able to show like a lot of stuff on TV. Like I was watching Noah for the first time and stuff, like, and it was cool. And you know, you're watching like Misawa and Kobashi absolutely kill each other, and it's you were getting all these different angles and stuff like that. And I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah, you can't escape it at that point.
Right.
It's everywhere.
And like I can't imagine what it's like for somebody now, you know, because like we were talking about this earlier. On our phone, we can literally do everything.
Everything you need.
We were laughing about MP3s and MP4s earlier, and like CDs, and oh my god. But I'm thinking now, like, you know, I can go on YouTube and pretty much any match I want to watch, I'll find it. If I go on the WWE Network, I'll find every WWE match, whatever, WCW match. If I want to find something else, I'll find it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so crazy. You've got all these potential influences now, and it's no surprise now that like younger kids get better faster than I would have, because like there's just so much out there and so many opportunities out there now that like, wow, you can get seen and you can get good matches.
And
you know?
And like the crazy thing about that, you don't even have to have a full match to get seen. You can just do one cool thing in a battle royal. It could be in your backyard at this point. And boom, push it, send it. Make sure these companies, because you can tag everybody in whatever you want, tag them in it, let it go viral. Boom, you're a wrestler. You're a star.
It worked for Superhuman. You know.
It did. He's grabbing Joey Ryan's.
But yeah, no. So it was like it was crazy. He was the biggest influence for me. He was my best friend.
Joey Ryan. He'd be my influence too.
Grabbing. Would he be your influence?
More of a Candace girl myself.
But no, so my best friend, sorry, was Chris.
Gotcha.
Was my biggest influence. Thank
Gotcha.
you.
So going to further your point, you said, you know, back from you guys were having a conversation about like MP3s and MP4 and CDs. Do you think there's a different appreciation of like you coming up, like from back in our days? We still had CDs and. You know,
I miss my CD.
I miss those days too. Like back when you go
like
buy
cassettes
an album.
and records. And,
Right. Right. So do you miss those days of having to go get those? Because we talk about how we miss going to Amazon or FYE and going to get the CD and open up the package, or going to buy VHS tape from our favorite WrestleMania. Do you miss those days?
So like I really miss like going to like Blockbuster and stuff like that. Like I miss going to, we call them like HMV, I think it was in Ireland. It was like where we would go to get our CDs and stuff. So like I miss, like, you know, you're spending 3 hours trying to find one CD or something. It was cool. It was cool.
That was an entire evening.
Oh man,
you could spend like that was like oh, we're going to the mall.
I'll be back tomorrow. You know, I'm gonna go and try and find one CD. I'll be back tomorrow.
And then make sure you get some bourbon chicken from the food court.
Bourbon chicken, samples.
Yes,
I'll take
the
Yes, I'll take the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I'll take a number 4 combo. Thank you, Jesus.
So it's like you go to the store and you hear the album, you hear the person's album, and they give you like 10 seconds.
Oh, I missed
15 seconds.
Like the little clips, like,
and you just be like, and you were taking a gamble on spending that $15.
That's a
gamble.
That was such a crazy time. I genuinely remember because like you had to decide right there and then, am I going to get this album?
Right.
You know what I mean?
The pressure was on.
Well, I mean, what 30 seconds was like a luxury. You know, I got 30 seconds of that song. You know.
Do you
That's what made me
any
go.
album that you got that you like regret it because you were like, oh, this could be
Almost
good.
all of them. You know? I mean, I look back.
That made me buy the Justin Timberlake album. I was like, hell yeah, strawberry bubblegum.
Right.
Bought that thing right then and there.
I remember I bought so Scooter was like a rave band in Ireland. Sorry, I think they were Dutch or something, but they were big in like England and Ireland and whatever else. And like I'd heard one song, I was like, oh, this is sick. I got the cassette and it was terrible. Like I mean, like 5 years later when I was going drinking and doing whatever, it was great. You know, but at that point, like 12 years old or whatever, it was the worst decision.
Now you got me thinking.
Yeah.
I bought albums just off the album cover. I've done that before. Cause like, oh, like, and I knew the artist.
He in front of a Hummer. Bot.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Buy that.
They're like, he's falling off of the sky, buying it because he looks awesome.
Is bedazzled. Oh, I'm getting that too.
Like,
you got diamonds.
Air Force Ones, buying it.
In the limited edition, the gum bottoms. Give me that.
Like,
you have to like flip through the CD.
Right, especially
easy to say I was easily influenced as a child.
Yeah.
And like,
I think for me it was more, okay, this one's $1. Well, £1 cheaper. I'm about that.
No, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to me.
And that was a really bad
You're like
decision.
a big rapper with a chain, like. Swing
The worst thing was like we had this boy band group called B2K, and they put out this album called Pandemonium, and each member had their own cover. The album is still the same.
Oh, no.
But
You bought it 4
but did
times?
the
Somebody else
women
did
buy
that
it
too.
4
Oh, you
times?
didn't buy it 4 times.
No, not me, because I'm not.
What a
boo-hoo.
gimmick that is,
But
though. What a
the-
gimmick.
Right.
That's the thing.
The other females, they kept buying
You
it
should
outside.
write this down.
Right.
Write it down.
That's
Same
excellent.
thing.
Let's
Just
form a
different
6-man group.
cover. And I was like, crazy. Crazy.
No, so like one of the things I do remember is there was a song that was banned, right, because there was a lot of swearing in it, and it kind of was against the police. And growing up where we grew up, we had a major problem with the police. So I remember like somebody in school got it. We all tried to listen to it with the worst radio ever. We were all trying to get this going, and it was The Police by NWA, and like that was actually my first real time listening to rap music, and it was like mind blowing because obviously the context was very important for us at that point, and then like that kind of started a bit of a because I'd never really heard, I guess like angry rap, because you had like the kind of cheesy stuff was kind of going on in the media.
What
at that
time
point,
was
like,
this?
So that was 93. Was it 93 for?
Oh yeah, we were still
Remember
like
earlier?
That was like your
93. 93. We still getting
Nah,
cut
nah.
behinds, everybody. Damn, we was getting that.
The rings.
Yeah, we was kind of like getting
He's starting to transition in like the East Coast hip hop.
East Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
And
When
Like,
a West
Fight the
Coast
Power.
when a West Coast really came in though, when was the
West Coast, West Coast Snoop came out about that time.
Was it not? Was it maybe?
Yeah, like
Oh,
93,
Snoop.
93.
Was it maybe late 80s actually? But
and then that opened up the
just trying to
Brent,
remember.
what,
Maybe it was
what,
late
what, I always know what kind of era we were on. What Tupac were we getting?
We was strictly for Tupac. That's that is
Which Tupac were we getting?
that's
the
Tupac.
song.
That's Tupac with the hat to the back, and he was like this is before he went bald and did all he had the hat to the back. Young Tupac,
Digital Underground.
right after Digital Underground, Tupac.
Right
Yeah,
after
that
that.
era. Yeah.
So we were.
This Juice. A little bit after Juice.
This was before.
Before
Juice.
Juice.
So we were
Before
getting LL. We were still getting LL Cool J's and like the Slick Ricks.
Yeah.
So that was my only real
Yeah,
understanding.
Boy,
Right
Justin
before that
Passengers.
was that kind of style.
Yeah, like LL
more,
Cool J's and like
silliness and whatever else, and then boom, out comes.
I need love.
Straight out
You got what I need. That stuff. We were getting that.
Right.
Yes, but obviously, NWA comes out, and then I
He's like,
I
ho,
find,
ho.
And this makes you like very aggressive at that time. We like
At that point, absolutely. I got really
I was
into
having a
Rage
good
Against the
day.
Machine as well.
Kick
So
this table.
there was that Rage Against the Machine and a few other things all at the same time,
yeah.
and that was like
Love Rage.
that was kind of where my head was during the 90s. So, but that was
I'm mad.
yeah, pretty much. Somewhat political music, angry, screaming. Yeah, I'm in. I'm all in.
Like,
But that was literally like my little foray into rap was then, and like obviously with Rage Against the Machine and stuff, I learned about metal then, and like a couple, as it come into the 2000s and stuff like that, you get more. Obviously, you're able to afford buying CDs and stuff. And, I just remember that kind of period. Late 90s and then early 2000s when like the kind of rap metal phase kind of came in, and I remember like kind of embarrassingly being a fan of a lot of that stuff, and that aged really well, guys.
We're here to open up to our fan base.
aging well.
Not a problem.
Speaking of
Aging really well.
Oh my
Do you
god.
remember the is the Metallica song that they did with Ja Rule?
Oh my god, Metallica.
You brought this up to us, didn't you, before?
Yeah, I have. I've played this song.
Yeah.
As, like,
I didn't know that was
songs
Metallica.
Yeah, you have like two ages of Metallica. You have like the early Metallica, then you have the one where like the lead singer goes, yeah.
James Hetfield, that was pretty much an entire
Yeah.
10-year period.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So who's some of the people you listen to now? Like who's some of the genres you listen to now?
So like I chilled out a lot as I got older.
That usually happens with
Oh.
music. You're like, you know what? I don't feel like jumping up and
back to
flipping
1997.
Yep. Oh God.
It's funny looking back. It is funny looking back because like I do sometimes still listen to like Rage is like probably my workout music still to this day, you know. It kind of really helps get pumped, get ready. But nowadays, like, it's changed a lot. Like I started listening to the likes of Massive Attack and DJ Shadow and things like that, which was more like kind of chilled out hip hop with. I'm trying to like.
I can appreciate that chill.
Trip hop, I think, is kind of, you know, that kind of.
Oh, okay.
It was that kind of genre that kind of came in at the time, and like, you know, I've kind of still kind of stuck to that, because it's helped with like when you needed to relax and things, like, you know, especially when you're traveling. Like DJ Shadow is like the coolest thing to listen to when you're traveling, because it just kind of.
DJ Shadow, write it down.
So introducing by DJ Shadow and introducing, really sick album. But like,
come to think of it, we're gonna need that playlist from you.
Oh, I don't know. I've like absolutely zero taste in music. I just like pretty much everything. But I went through like a period where I started refining some of the stuff I was really into when I was younger. There was a band, Billy Talent is like a kind of a punk band, and like I liked them when I was a kid, but they're like, it was so sick listening to them again, and I was like, this actually is decent. You know what I mean? And
we do a thing where usually like, who's somebody that you like loved growing up music wise. You go back and listen to them, you're like, ugh, they just didn't age well.
Oh, Metallica. So it's funny you brought them up. Like, so I actually went to see them live a couple of times, 03, 06, and like, they were brilliant at the time, but then they released a couple of really bad albums in a row, and like, you know, it got worse.
Did you listen to the one they did with Lou Reed?
They did.
They did an album with Lou Reed called Lulu.
Oh.
That doesn't sound appealing to me at all.
I can see why I gave up on them. But like I got really into the band Tool. That's my favorite. That was my favorite band.
I think at a certain point, like, I just have to say this to people. At a certain point, when you're like a legend, you kind of don't need new music from you, bro.
Just
like,
stop.
Like, let's tour your old stuff.
Stop.
Like. You starting to get to that
remix
point.
it a couple times.
We're on album number 19. No, fam. You should have stopped at 11.
Yeah,
we're good.
You're already a legend.
Yeah,
There's no point of continue on.
Yeah.
But
see when you've hit that like 10 album and you're still cool, stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because at some point the
best
generation's going to change.
Wow.
And the taste of music is just going to...
Yeah.
I mean, like, some bands get away with it because they never really change their sound and stuff.
I think
Journey.
I think metal...
Yeah, I mean, like, they chose what they had and they stuck to the formula.
I really think metal and rock get away with it all the time. Rock artists, they can put
somehow people still go to watch 70-year-olds play rock music.
That blows my mind.
There's still people going to Nickelback concerts.
That blows my mind because, like, who did I like?
They still make money.
But I just saw Steven Tyler with the Roots the other day on with Jimmy Fallon.
Like, if Ludacris...
He still got the moves, which is crazy. I don't know how that's possible.
If Ludacris is 50, 60 years old, I don't want to hear What's Your Fantasy at that time. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
AARP.
Yeah, he gonna be out there.
Retirement home.
You are 62 years old.
Can we film him? That was excellent. You should be very proud of yourself.
But it's funny. I don't want to hear Chingy. I like the way you do that right there at 60 years old. Touring.
It would be really awkward.
It'd be awful.
Although in fairness, like, James Brown still had it. Like, you know,
yes.
I don't know how that was possible. The guy was still doing like tombstone pile drivers on the floor, and he was still getting up. You know what I mean? So I mean, some guys got it. Some guys got it. You know?
Yeah, like
it's awkward to watch.
It's just funny with hip hop. It's like after 2 failed projects, you're done. You're wiped off the.
Right.
I don't know. Eminem's kind of clinging on like
legend.
Okay.
Well, that's true.
Let me ask you this.
I know, but he did.
I did like Kamikaze though. I
did like Kamikaze.
Recovery.
This is a good one.
Recovery is good.
It's okay, baby.
Recovery's fine.
Sweetie.
I will not stand for this Eminem slander on my show.
You're not standing. Period.
That's true. Bing. I'm a huge Eminem fan. Obviously, he was like the late '90s guy, so I get it. You know, I see why you like him. You know,
who's a concert you went to, but the concert just wasn't good?
I went to see System of a Down.
Ooh, really?
And they were all out of time with each other.
They were arguing?
No, they're all out of time.
Out of time.
It was a live festival, bro. So like everybody was crazy high. They were crazy high. So. And like literally, Deftones was on just before them, and they were worse. So they were terrible live, and then System were terrible. But I saw Serge Tankian, I saw the singer of System later on a solo thing, and he was awesome. So I don't know if it was just a bad set. I don't know if it was just bad. The acoustics didn't work. Whatever. But it was bad. I was the worst hour and a half of my life. I was like, I paid a lot of money to be here, and it was not good. So that was probably the worst I've ever been to. So that is
insane to me.
Pretty shit.
Fam, I went to a Phil Collins show.
Oh no!
Don't you do this!
Do not finish the story. Do not finish the story.
Don't you do this! Don't you do this! Don't you put this video on me, Ricky Bobby?
That was the breakdown, man.
Don't you do it!
Oh, wait, how do I do this again?
Can I finish my sentence? Can I finish my paragraph? Listen. Listen. First of all, shout out to you, Phil Collins. Shout out to you, Phil Collins, to be able to stand in one spot your whole career and not do anything but sing and make a career. Shout out to Phil Collins. He didn't have to do much.
He played the drums.
He was a drummer, yeah. He was a drummer.
Dude, have you?
They brought the drums to him. He didn't go to the drums.
Phil Collins was right here. Phil Collins, studio. The whole time.
Yeah.
I can feel it in the air tonight. Take me home.
He looked
Let him keep his tempo.
it looked like he was giving the spelling bee. A, C,
And
E. You know what? In their prime, I watched the movie on the plane. In their prime, I would have loved to seen them live. Elton John. I would have loved to see him in his prime.
Yeah.
Especially when freaking Tiny Dancer come on, I'd be out there like,
Hold me closer.
Wish I saw a young harmonica Stevie with the haircut, bro.
ooh. You can sit on that piano. You don't gotta move, baby. Just
I wanted to see Whitney before all the stuff.
Hey.
all the things.
What? You had to go back to 1990 for that.
Hey.
Take a trip.
All I gotta do is contact Steve Irwin. He can do it for me.
If I was to watch anybody ever, it would have been Hendrix. My favorite song ever was a cover he did of Bob Dylan. Was All Along the Watchtower, and it is still to this day my favorite song of all time. I would love to have seen the 70s. Must have been a sick time to be a music, to be into it. Everything was coming on. There was just so many different things. But Hendrix playing live All Along the Watchtower would have been.
Did hear that Devil's Anvil?
Man,
Hear that live?
if you could see one artist, of course it'd be Michael Jackson. Come on. Let's be honest. That's like
yes, sir.
you're getting everything you need in a performance, in a concert. Period.
All the energy, the dancing.
Let somebody be
awesome
off tune with Michael. He'll be like, wait a minute, hold on, stop, everybody stop.
No, what do you
stop.
say? No, it comes in when I do this.
Yep.
Then you come in.
Like this.
You
like boom.
You don't lean that far when the smooth criminal part comes.
Yeah, it's like
when you lean, you don't lean that
Well,
far.
he created it all in his own head, didn't he? All of the riffs, all
Right.
the beats came out of there, and he would tell it to a bassist. Bassist would listen, and then he would start playing it, and that's how he created music. And that is
That's
next
insane.
level. Like that.
It's insane.
Oh.
We're gonna go into Swole's world right now.
I thought we was already in it. I just been talking. I've been talking about all my other stuff that I said I was gonna talk about.
Yo stuff. Him.
She's a bit more interesting than I am, so I dig
That's
it.
a lie. Even though she's a very interesting woman, she's doing her thing, yes, but
Just found all
The woman.
Adjectives.
Yeah.
I was about to call you outside of Big Swole too, so can't have that again.
Please don't do it. Please don't do this.
Awkward.
Yeah. Right. You know what? My first question, because I meant to say this a little while ago, but we bypassed it. I heard you was an Orlando Magic fan.
So I've been a Magic fan since '94, right?
Yes.
Which
Thank
is
you.
crazy.
Thank you, because my favorite. They're my favorite. Oh my God. You get some Horace Grant, you get some Shaq, you get some...
Penny!
Nick
The
Anderson,
fadeaway.
you got the guys. Come on.
Such a good time. 96?
I got really big into basketball. There was a little period, early '90s, where they started showing NBA, and they had a really cool. They just made it so easy to watch. They would show highlights of the games. You'd always get the fourth quarter, which is the real time to play. You know, the first three quarters.
Press.
First three quarters.
You're feeling things out, you know.
First three quarters.
All right, now we play.
First three quarters. I don't know.
You might see a dunk or two.
LeBron might play in the fourth quarter. You know, that kind of thing. But no, so I got really into it, and we started getting trading cards and things like that. And I got a Shaq card, and I was like, oh, he's really cool. I really liked the logo, the Magic logo, because it was like the old logo with the ball and the stars coming behind. I was like, these guys are awesome. And like, I didn't realize they were actually really good at this point. They just drafted Penny that year, so they had the winning season. They got to the playoff finals, and obviously lost to the Rockets. But that was such a baptism of fire for me, because I got to see not only were the team good, but they were playing awesome basketball. They got to the finals, and then Shaq left. So. So then we suffered until Dwight Howard got drafted, and it was great. We did really well. We got up to the finals in 2009, and we got to the finals again, and we lost to the Lakers.
You had Tracy.
We had Tracy. No, we just cool. We had Tracy. We also brought in Grant Hill, who got injured before he signed the contract. But it's okay. It's been a really awkward couple of decades being an Orlando Magic fan.
This is past his prime, but I was a fan of Steve Francis.
Steve Francis.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my
Steve
favorites.
Francis.
Absolutely.
We got him from the Rockets. He was pretty sweet, but
That 1 year.
He was a good player. Yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah.
Listen. We had some good teams, but never really great teams until we drafted Dwight Howard. I think it was 2004 we drafted Howard.
That was a good team.
We built we got Rashad Lewis in, we
got
Hito
Turkoglu.
Turkoglu.
That was a good team.
Y'all had
Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson.
He was a baller. So we got Carlos Arroyo, who was playing great basketball for us at that point. So we had a really good team, and then it all went to hell. Dwight Howard wanted rid of Stan Van Gundy. We brought in Big Baby and stuff like that. The team just went to the dogs, and it's so sad looking, because it's been 8 years, and now finally we just had our first winning season. We got to the playoffs last season, which is at least we got out. We got to the postseason, and I'm actually quite confident right now. We got Markelle Fultz, who's if he
get a shot to
does at all okay, even if he plays okay, that's a great trade. We got him for nothing. So I'm excited. Like Aaron Gordon. We've got Isaac there. We've got
I want to see what
Vooch is still sick, and Vooch had a great year last year.
I want to see what Bobamba does.
T. Ross was awesome last year.
T. Ross, man.
Sixth man of the year in my head last year. You know what I mean?
Dude, I went to Orlando Golden State game last year.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and Golden State was up by 8 comfortably in the fourth. Terrence Ross came off the bench, brought him back, won by 3, 4.
He was sick last year, and you know what? He's actually started pretty hot. So I'm hoping that we do okay this year, because
still got Fournier, right?
Yeah.
Fournier's there. He actually had a good summer as well. He played well for France, so I'm hoping that if he just an extra 6 points a game, he'd be awesome. But it's just he can be a little bit inconsistent.
Streaky.
And, we need him, because we haven't had a shooter in so long.
No.
When was the last time we had a shooter? I'm trying
Hito
to
Turkoglu.
think. Maybe Turks, you know what I mean? So it's been a while since we've had a really good
a gunner.
Oh.
Guys that can shoot, but then you need a shooter.
We had Ryan Anderson there for a while. He was a great stretch four, and we let him go for nothing. And
well, he's still eating. Ain't been doing nothing in years.
Well, but we should have kept him. He would have been switched.
Chandler Parsons.
That's my guy too. But you collecting them checks now
years.
at this point. You my guy, but I gotta keep it.
He is Ryan Fitzpatrick of the NBA to me.
Gotta keep it a buck. You collecting them checks, bro.
But not
roll him in, brother.
Yep. When are you coming to practice tomorrow? Practice.
Well, we've got a guy on the bench right now, Mozgov, who's on $20 million a season.
Timothy Mozgov.
This guy's getting paid to sit down. So it has to be said, we've actually applied to try and get him off our roster, because he hasn't done anything. He's been hurt for a long time. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't even come to practice anymore. So,
he's practicing collecting money.
Listen, if the job was earn as much money and do the least amount of effort, that guy was in all-star team every year. You know what I mean? This guy, it's hard to watch that we brought him in. But we got him because he was eventually to be relief and whatever.
I'll never forget the Nets just constantly, every year, just banking, just losing money because of Darren Williams' contract. 4 years.
What a baller he used to be, though, as well. And that's the most annoying part, is guys like Gilbert Arenas and stuff like that who look awesome, and then what happens,
Brandon Roy.
Gilbert Arenas was
Iowa
same after he brought them guns to the locker room.
Javaris Crittenden and Gilbert Arenas.
Right. Crittenden. Yeah. Wow. What a name.
He said I challenge you to a duel.
That's exactly what they both brought guns to work. It's true, they both brought guns to work.
Turn into Red Dead, Arthur Morgan versus
Look across the locker room. You got yours? Yeah, I got mine. You got yours? I got mine.
It was the ending of El Camino. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's go then. Oh, bluffing. Let's go. No, you go.
And both guys were never the same, you know. But Gilbert at least got paid. Crittenden didn't even get paid though, you know. So.
That's
I mean, Gilbert was dropping numbers.
Gilbert was dropping mad numbers, all-star
Numbers.
Yeah, gun charge him. He never was the same.
All right, draw.
Red Dead Redemption. Be like,
Dead mode. Dead out.
What did they think was going to happen? They were going to shoot each other. How did this come in? Like they both brought a piece to work, and you're like, guys, you brought it to like training. You brought it to practice. What's going to happen next? You know what I mean? Like,
I think we don't.
the conversation was like, yeah,
You got an ego that big.
I can't believe we lost by 20, man. Maybe want to bring my 9mm in here.
and shoot my teammates.
I got a 45. bring it tomorrow.
I got the ruler. You got the Glock. Let's go.
I got a semi-automatic with the laser.
Marcin Gortat's over there like,
I'm not from here. I don't understand. I'm from Poland. We don't have guns.
7'15". He's like,
Police.
I'm from Europe. It's weird.
oh
my god. Yeah. But yeah, so massive Magic fan. I try to go as much as possible. The hardest part for me was last year because we would get added last minute to like runs, so I'd buy tickets. I can't go, you know. But I got to go. Me, Chris Hero, and Jordan, the really tall guy. We just signed. We went to see them against the Rockets, and we beat them. It was pretty cool because like Harden had the worst game ever. Like he was 1 from 18 from the 3-point line. It was awesome because we actually managed to beat them. So
that's normal Harden numbers. He just probably didn't get free throws.
But he actually still got like double figures somehow. You know, of course. The guy's a baller. He just wasn't a baller that night.
So with being an avid NBA and Magic fan, do you play 2K?
I do play 2K. Until this year. This is the first year I think I just said this to the guys. Yeah. In 20 years, I haven't bought 2K because I was so mad with last year's My Player. So
this is not the year for you then.
Nah,
is it bad? Is it bad?
Yeah, this is not it.
Horrendous.
That's not it.
I watched you go through how many cards to try to get that platinum.
That's my team though. Yeah. My team is a whole.
Yeah, my team's hard.
It's pay to play.
They want.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only.
Want all the stars. You know what I mean? So,
$100, you might get unlimited code. Right. You might.
We watched this guy on YouTube who he went through like, I think it was like 30 pack openings, which cost like ended up being like $1,600 to get the unlimited Kobe for the Amazon.
Did he get it?
He ended up having to go into the auction thing.
He had to pay for it. He sold all his cards, and then I hate it.
So he still didn't get it.
I think this stuff should be banned because like you're talking about kids who are going to steal their parents' credit cards. Right. They're going to try and buy packs, and I hate it. Like.
But it also doesn't require any skill because you don't have to actually. You can play the game, but it's going to take you 20 years to get actually a good team together for my team.
My problem was playing My Player last year. I played like 100 games, and literally my character's still at like 70 or something. Yeah. And I was like, all these guys are like idiot, and I'm like, how am I competing with these guys?
The $50 to get you to an 85 and stuff from there.
I hated all that.
NBA 2K is the perfect example of showing you who has a job and who does not.
Oh, brother.
Because people sit there all day.
I had a crew last year. I've had a crew. Dude played at his job. You hear the cash register ringing up like, yeah, thanks for your service. Whoa.
Dang.
Like, at his job, he was playing the game. I don't know what his setup was. I didn't even ask. This man is a maniac.
You just knew that it was there.
Yeah, I'm like, they were like, yo, where you at? Hold up, I had to ring up a customer real quick. Don't worry. Hey, call timeout. I'll be right back.
But like, this ended my run, so I started on PC. I ended up getting on the Dreamcast, the original 2K and stuff. Yep. My second Dreamcast. And then went on like, all the PlayStation.
I used to hate that thing.
Best game ever. That was the best game ever. It's time to earn some crazy money. So good. Offspring, All I Want would play. It's such a sick game. Actually,
I love how they hopped out of the car when they got to the destination.
Oh yeah, like you literally could have killed this game. But they gave you the money. It's okay. Crazy money. But also the best game ever, Sonic Adventure 1.
Yes. Incredible game.
That was the best game ever. For me, it's like, like
One of the best
Adventure
boss
2 was
fights
okay,
ever.
whatever else, but Sonic Adventure 1 was
The chaos one, you had to run, and he turned supersonic, and the city was flooded.
Oh my God.
One of the greatest, best boss fights ever.
That was sick. So that was a brilliant like kind of era with the Dreamcast, and then went into PlayStation. So this is the first year I didn't go for 2K. Oh, going to the game.
I'll be right back, y'all.
But yes, so this is the first year because of last year's My Player. I don't know if I want to do it again because like I put so much effort into it, and I play a center, so like very few people play a center, so I was managed to at least be okay, but I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it to myself.
Speaking of video game system, there's nothing more annoying than original PlayStation loading. That noise was so annoying, and it would just like right. It would just load. It would just go really slow.
Yeah.
Real slow. And then it would finally work. But those discs used to go out so quick.
Well, this is what I was saying to the boys. I had a bootleg copy of SmackDown. Right? Oh, don't tell the boss. You're fired. And,
He's there.
Don't tell nobody else.
I drew it, right? My friend dropped it, like a cup on it, and this massive chip came out of the disc, and it still worked.
Wow.
So, those days, like a scratch would kill a game.
Of course.
That we managed to take a chunk out of the CD and it still works. So we had a great
The
success.
game's only on the first couple rings. First couple plays.
The rest, I don't know what was on there.
So what's your goal? Oh, sorry.
Did y'all ever buy like the Dr. Skip Fix or some kind of machine that you
Yeah.
Clean your PlayStation and destroy your PlayStation.
I always wanted to buy one.
I
I
got
never
that
did.
hard old wolf's bang fur trying to clean my disc, and I'm like, I know not. All these scratches went on this when I played.
Wait a minute, this is not what I did.
Customer service number.
That was definitely me, but the rest of these guys.
What? 1-818.
It's like rotary phone.
I'm mad. I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna get my money back.
I'm gonna get my money.
I'm gonna get my mama money back. My mama said, "Yeah, I gotta get my money back." Cause y'all messed up my Extreme 2.
Back when you had Game Shark and you get all the codes, get on the back of the magazine, Game Pro, get to the back of the magazines.
Yes. Yeah, I used to go to Scholastic Book Fair and just open it up and just be there.
You be waiting for the magazine. You get like WWF Warzone, Stone Cold.
Oh yeah.
You be like, come on, bro. Back in those days, man, those were the good episodes. Like, what are some of your favorite video games of all time? Like,
okay, that's
give me a list.
That's a great question. Okay.
We all good.
So we'll go with so Sonic Adventure 1's definitely up there. That was
amazing,
unbelievable. Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation 1. That was, oh my god, like to this day, I'm still crying about it. Okay, why are you crying? Okay, so I was talking earlier with the boys about FIFA. That is kind of the game I play the most and hate the most and destroy the most control pads over. But there was a game a few years ago called Pro Evolution Soccer, and I think it was. So PES 4 was like a long time ago. That just had me. I was in the guys who I lived with. We were all obsessed with it. So like we'd all be trying to beat each other and we'd get really drunk trying to play each other. And I was a defensive god when I was drunk, but I couldn't score goals. So they're the most boring games. You know what I mean? Like terrible. But so those three. There's a series of soccer simulation games called Football Manager and Championship Manager. So
I know of those. I never did.
They're huge back home.
Yeah, I've been told.
I still buy them. Like I'm one of those people who buys the same thing every year. Except for 2K.
Don't do it.
And then outside of that, Breath of the Wild by Zelda. That's probably the best game I've ever played. That was game that had me. That was awesome. Best game.
For me, the best gaming series I've ever played is Metal Gear.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Stealth. I see it.
Mm-hmm. I love the patience of it. You gotta be patient because that's a game like nobody can just pick up and just go. Yeah, like
that's about Hitman. I love that series.
You got to be patient with Hitman, man. Like if you're in a elite class of gamers that get past Hitman, and you just look at everybody like different. Like
I'm a gamer.
You're like, hey,
You're not a gamer.
Speaking of a star system, if you get 5 stars on Hitman,
you're
you raw.
Yeah.
Because you always miss something. You're like, oh god.
Yep.
Like, what did I do? Yeah.
And then the average player will be like, oh yeah, you get the 5 stars on one level. You can't do it on every level.
Right.
You know, that one level, like I'm the goat at that one.
And you have to play it over and over and over again and know the little tricks of what to do.
Yup.
Then you go to the next level, try to master that one.
Metal Gear was the same. Metal Gear 4.
Wow.
Metal Gear 4 was like that.
I don't have that kind of patience, so...
Let's burn something! Shoot it!
I remember playing, like, Grand Theft Auto and stuff when it came out, like, and
I hate when they try to add stealth in that game. I don't need stealth for that. That's not why I'm here.
But it was next level, because I remember when the PC, it was the very first, you're looking over, and it was fun, but, like, it wasn't great, and then, boom, 3D. Here we go, Grand Theft, and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And
I remember
what a series that was. Like.
Yeah, because I remember like usually like 2 games coming out at the same time, and one of them's going to be the one that changes everything, and it was that and Max Payne. And
Max Payne was awesome.
Yeah,
bullet time. You know,
those were the 2 games
just
that
dive
were
down sideways down a set of stairs. You know, somehow survive.
I'm okay.
And also shooting people. Bam, bam, bam.
I just
that was awesome.
Actually. I hated the like his legs would move, but I hated that.
Yeah.
Listen, he was a dancer. He was a dancer. You know,
shooting.
He was a stealth.
I'm like, why is he so stiff? Don't want you keep getting shot.
And
it was a good game.
The storyline was so sad he died the other day.
Right.
I'm
and
so
he kept
sad.
that smirk. That's what I hated about him. He kept that smirk the whole game.
Y'all
got shot.
Y'all ever play Heavy Rain?
Yes.
That was a sick game. Like, and that was like the first of those kind of, you know, like Telltale did that whole series where you could choose what happens next. I got really emotional with I was like, oh, I killed her. You know, I'm sweating. I'm like, am I in trouble? You know.
The first question, I was like, what color? What's my child's shirt? I don't know. I'm not a good pick. What was his shirt?
Jason!
I don't know. I don't know.
He got snatched up. I wasn't paying attention.
Jason!
That was a sick game, though. It was a sick game. So,
it was great. It was a fantastic game.
Great game.
I'm trying to think. Like, there's nothing new coming. There's nothing good coming out. Well, you got the Metal Gear. I'm not Metal Gears. Call of Duty coming out. That just came out recently.
What's the one with Keanu Reeves that they did?
Yeah, Cyberpunk.
That looks pretty sweet. Like,
That's gonna be incredible.
Oh, did you play the previous game? Witcher 3?
No. I've never played any of the Witcher series, so that's something that everybody keeps telling me, and I'm like, hey, you keep telling me, I'm going to play it. I never played it. I actually bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey because everybody kept telling me to buy it.
That's her game.
I still haven't even opened the package, so
It's been
that is next.
on
That is
my
next.
screen
Don't do it.
months
Too
and
big.
I've never touched
I
it.
heard like Sheldon Benjamin told me it's way too big, so
Listen,
It's huge.
once you
He
dive
loves
into
it,
this thing, it's going to consume your life.
I'm playing.
But my
tomorrow.
wife does like go to SmackDown every week, so you know there's a lot of time I could probably play it. So I might have to do it. I might have to go for it.
Honey, how you doing?
Segue.
Not right now!
Don't talk to me.
How do you deal with that?
Brilliant video games and whatever.
Lots of video
No, like so because I did it last year and she had it was like roles reversed.
That's
so
insane.
Like,
That's crazy.
We and like to be honest, it's one of those things. It's like she's getting what she deserves, and I'm really happy that like it's happening because I've been there with her this whole
right,
system. You know what I mean? Like we're together 10 years, so like 11 years. Don't tell her. I hope you're not watching. You know. But so
Hi,
like,
Nikki.
I'm just so happy that she's getting her chance, and like she's doing such a good job of like when she went from NXT to SmackDown to Raw and SmackDown. It was like, okay, we want to scale back the crazy because it's new fans and it's more kid based, whatever, and we can go. There's always somewhere we can go. So they went with a slightly like scaled down version, and it was good for her because she gets a chance to try something new and like try and connect on her talent as opposed to I'm crazy, and like which got over really well in NXT. So, but it's good that she can try getting over more on her other skills. So,
Right, 'cause your
and she's
woman
always
can
got
go.
that. What's that?
Because your woman can go.
Oh, dude, like
She's a phenomenal wrestler. I love her.
she is legit crazy as well. I mean, like, that needs to be said. All right, it's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick.
Aren't we all?
I mean,
women, you are pretty good.
I was just there on Friday, and she did a Halloween costume type gimmick thing, and she was dressed up like Chucky.
Oh my god.
Very, very resembling. I was like, oh.
And she chased people with scissors. So
Yes.
I mean, like, And that was her like having fun. So,
Yeah, no, I'm like,
just putting that out there, guys. Just putting it. So, but like, no, for me, like I'm much happier in the position I'm in, and she's much happier in the position she's in. So it sucks sometimes when our tours end up like or we miss each other. Like she's gonna do 2 weeks from the end of this week for 2 weeks. So we're gonna miss. But like we've spent 3 months apart before, so like. We are used to it. When she went to start, was it Stardom the first time, or was it? She went to Japan for 3 months anyway, and like so we missed each other for that entire period. And then other times where I went to America or she went to America. So like we had like times where we've been apart for length. So 2 weeks is nothing, and like you're able to tell that to yourself. You're like, I'll be okay for 4 days.
I'm just saying that's 2 There's 2 episodes of NXT on Wednesday nights on USA Network. That's how I like to count it as.
That was some excellent work.
I tried.
Excellent work.
I'm trying to get a job.
But,
trying to get that Dio Madden job, man.
Oh, hey, you practice commentary twice and then get the job. So, remember you were tag team partners for a minute?
Oh, yeah. It just blew by.
You guys even have the same like European truck stop T-shirts. You know what I mean?
You mean our Tony Hawk logos?
They got that same Von Dutch.
I wore mine on TV.
Well, that's good for you.
I felt proud enough to do that.
Hey, good. Be proud. Good for you.
Well, we're going to have to close up shop. Close up shop, Mr. Killian Dain. Oh, it's been a pleasure having you. I mean, we'd welcome you back at any time. We had a fun time. But, last promise, like I said in the beginning of the episode, it's your turn to get up on the beat. Get up on the beat. Hey. Get up on the beat. Get up on the beat.
Am I gonna have to come ahead?
Oh, what you got? Hey, yo, what you got to say? Oh, what you got to say? Killian Dain got to say.
I've loved rap music my entire life, and I can't rap. So thank you very much. I'm gonna try and stop the entire. My entire life. Loved it. Can't rap at all. So still white,
Tell
so.
tell our Patreon subscribers what they get next month, because we did not give it to them this month.
You guys get a description of what they get from Psy. What do we get?
That's some excellent deflecting. I like that.
Swerve don't hear it.
Swerve City.
Swerve Scott.
All right, so it's on the other side.
Microphone.
Nope, yep.
Microphone.
Huh?
All right, sorry to all our Patreon subscribers, our lovely Patreon subscribers, our patrons. I apologize to our lovely patrons. We want to apologize. We will not be able to do. We missed out because of scheduling. We missed out on your live stream this month, but we're gonna make it up to you in the month of November. We're gonna give you 2 live streams, and we're also gonna give you 2 album reviews. One of those album reviews we'll tell you is probably going to be Jesus is King from Kanye West. That's going to be one, and then we'll probably do a poll of see what you guys want to see us talk about and review. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a patron and supporting us on a level that not everyone can do. So thank you for that, and we're going to make it up to you. And thank you.
Make requested questions we can ask our guests coming up, because we got some special people lined up, man.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Also, I'll have the Discord to you guys sometime by like Friday. So.
Gracias.
That was that was good.
Good job, bro.
Good job.
Official. That was fantastic.
We official.
Oh, see?
That was fantastic.
He sat over there the whole time. Why wasn't he sitting there with you? Huh?
He does the job better than I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I got the peoples. I bring the guests. It is Swerve City Podcast.
That's actually.
So as a closing to the guests and our guests and to the audience, tell them where they can find you on social media.
At Killian Dain on Instagram and Twitter, and also at WW Relegation, which is our football podcast for anybody who likes the football. English style, sadly, not American.
www.shop.com. Killian Dain has some shirts on. They're awesome.
Go Manchester.
Surprisingly okay, yeah.
They're
So,
really
yeah,
good.
actually,
I like 'em.
my one was actually a logo that I had drawn, and they asked if they could use it. So I'm sure I'm in for some moolah at some point if anybody buys a T-shirt. But anyway, carry on.
Where they can find Big Swole.
You can find me on Instagram at the Big Swole or on Twitter at Swole World.
I always mix the two, but you, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Teasy Scott, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me. Thank you guys for the love and everything I've been experiencing from you guys lately. You guys have been showing a lot of love on the pages. So follow that and subscribe to the YouTube as well. You know what I mean? YouTube.com/.
That was quite sensual, wasn't it? It was just me. Like,
I'm just happy.
very sen- I was
I'm
actually
very
kinda-
happy to get some interaction with people from.
I got a tingle there, actually. You know.
Some interaction.
Ladies.
Been showing a lot of love.
Showing love.
From Humble Beginnings coming in April, Mania weekend. What's up? And as always, be confident in everything you do.
Wash your ass.
Or you gonna get a pop.
Pow!
Wash your ass.